Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.
Welcome into room 442. A busy weekend has just passed us. I'm with James Sharman, Mikey Singh, myself, Sarah Pararia. Lots to get into, so let's dive in with some headlines. James, you're up first. And of course, we're talking Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio Pochettino's methods: hot coals, lemons, breaking mental barriers, and the Gacken test. What is that?
What, the Gacken test?
Yeah.
The lemons or the hot coals?
No, all of them. But first, the Gacken. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so basically, it's much like remember the beep test?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a play on that, but a much more vicious version. And so Poch is now joined up with Chelsea, and he's renowned for getting his players fit beyond fit, because the way his teams play is that high press, high octane, run, right? So he has all these methods to keep these players fit, and one of them is a Gacken test, he calls it. And it sounds just awful. The players hate it, but they all appreciate it and respect it. The lemons, he has a bowl of lemons in his office because they absorb negative energy, apparently. So he loves his lemons. We should definitely get some right in front of Mikey there. All this negative TFC energy right now. We need to get that. And walking on coals, basically he's just telling his players, listen, follow me and I'll lead you the right way. Believe what I'm teaching you. And it's all about a mental game. You can walk across coals apparently, right? Right? Yeah. And if you believe that you won't get burnt, you won't get burnt.
Yeah,
we'll give that a try as well.
I'd say your feet might have
we need
a
to
different...
do that.
We should try it. I've seen it done.
I've seen people do it, but you're not telling me that you're not going to have blisters on your feet afterwards. You might be able to channel out the pain, but I think you will still have
you wake
some
up next
sort
morning
of...
and go, why the hell did I do that?
Massive, just, ugh.
But, I think it's a great hire for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And a fascinating off-season coming up when he decides who's staying and who's going. Raheem Sterling scored 2 goals in the weekend in a draw, so maybe he's trying to prove to the new gaffer, listen, I've still got it. But it'd be interesting because a lot of high-price talent there who have to prove to the new manager that they want to win, they want to put the work in, they want to do the Gacken test.
Yeah.
And we'll find out, but I think it's a brilliant hire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Chelsea tying Nottingham Forest 2-2 at Stamford Bridge, though.
Yeah.
Like, it is shocking.
Big
Frank
point
got
for
his
Forest.
one win last weekend, and that was it. That was it for the season. Just the one victory. It's not
It's
yet.
4 points in 2 games.
Okay.
Frank.
Progress.
Should have kept him.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good hire for Chelsea as well. Do you agree, Mikey?
Yeah, I'd say so, right? But it's not like, I know a new manager with the talent that they have theoretically should fix a lot, but it's not always works out that way. A manager coming in, new philosophies, new identity with the club, you have to find players who fit that manager's system. At times that takes, sometimes that takes a lot of time. Sometimes that takes years to actually fully implement. But I mean, it's a lot of good starting points. We'll see which players Poch decides to keep, which he decides to exile. But it's setting up to be one of the most interesting summers, I think, in a very long time for this Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Todd Bowley, maybe 4th time's a charm. We'll see about that. On to Mikey's first headline. Alejandro Garnacho seals Manchester United's victory against Wolves. He's become a crowd favorite. That's right. Garnacho scored after being away on injury for a little bit. Nice to see him kind of pop back in and get on the scoreboard. I think it's really good for Manchester United fans to have such a young talent that's fitting in really well for the team.
No, and that's the thing. He's a really, really young talent. He's just 18 years old. Obviously, he just got a massive new contract with the club, so he's going to be there for the long haul. And, we've seen a lot of really good young players come through the Manchester United ranks, but there hasn't been a kid like Garnacho for a really, really long time. And, you hear the Viva Garnacho chants. That's what they used to sing for Cristiano Ronaldo when he was young, when he came back, obviously, as well. So to see a kid like Garnacho really, step up and kind of, obviously not fill that void, but maybe provide fans with a glimmer of hope of somebody running down the wing and being a difference maker at just 18 years old, that part's really, really exciting. And, when you look at Manchester City and you look at their roster, biggest difference between Man City and the rest of the league, obviously their 11's unreal, but also just the depth that they have. And Garnacho's another piece, another asset now that Ten Hag has at his disposal moving forward, and maybe a guy that can move himself into the starting 11 if he keeps playing like this. But it's a really, really, really bright I don't want to say surprise because a lot of people probably believed him, but a nice addition to this team, I think maybe some people weren't expecting.
Any concerns about the blonde hair?
Oh.
Well, what's funny
or
is
the shaved eyebrows. My goodness.
Is he a big time Charlie in the making here?
What's funny is Bruno Fernandes came out and said he doesn't want to compliment Garnacho too much because he doesn't want it to go to his head, essentially, at
like-
such a young
I
age.
reckon it's already already. You can just see
Hey,
the way
it's
he
swagger
looks.
though too, right? Maybe it's swagger. Ronaldo was always cocky as well with the hair and the shaved eyebrow. Worked okay for him, didn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Just saying. Listen, he's 18 years old. I think
yeah,
just
we
give him a
need
bit
to
of a
calm
break
down.
here.
We need to calm down.
Martial scored too, by the way.
Hey, yeah. Question though, guys. You guys watched the game over the weekend. It was still a bit underwhelming though for United. Like, it still wasn't the football that we were seeing only a few months ago, I thought. Like, it's very mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah, missing some key pieces, obviously. No Rashford, no Lissandro Martinez. I mean, Martial's coming back, and he's still trying to find his footing. It wasn't the best performance, but at the end of the day, it really didn't matter. Man United needed 3 points out of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game.
Must
That
have
was the
some
only
wins.
thing that
I mean, look at
mattered.
the table right now. It's so tight. Obviously, Liverpool playing later on Monday against Leicester. They win that game. Obviously, a game more. They're a point back. Right? So it's getting down to the wire. You have to win this game.
have
It's one
to.
way or the other. That's why I still think it's Newcastle and United.
Yeah.
But 2 games left.
It's not.
2 games left for those teams.
It's not signed, sealed, delivered
It
just
isn't,
yet,
no, it
though.
isn't.
It's still open. Brighton's still in that mix, too.
Hey, we'll get to that shortly, but first we have to talk about Barcelona won the league,
Oh, I
guys.
didn't notice. Really?
But the story is here, actually, and it's really unfortunate. Barcelona stars forced to flee the pitch after winning La Liga. Basically, they were playing the Barcelona derby against Espanyol, and they won the match 4-2. It should have been nearly 4-0. They kind of let go at the end, but they had so much... They let 2 goals in, but it didn't matter because they obviously scored 4. Big win for Xavi's side. They win La Liga. They're celebrating a bit on the pitch. Nothing too...
bit?
To be fair, they had every right
Look
to.
at them.
That's not
Bit.
crazy.
That's more than a bit of celebration
They've
on
won
your
La
arch
Liga.
enemy's ground.
Yeah, no, this is that. No, I'm sorry, but they have every. They have
Look at them,
every
Sarah.
single. Right, they have every right to do this, James. They've won La Liga.
Do it in the
no,
room.
I'm sick of it. No, and so if you guys look to the what
like-
side? The left.
this-
So here, fans start coming. The players are literally forced in. There's another video which we actually don't have. But they had what do you go? The guys with the shields
Riot
blocking the oh my god, I'm looking.
Ushers / riot police.
The riot,
tunnel.
yeah, with the riot
Sorry,
shields.
the tunnel. Goodness gracious, I'm losing my words because there were fans, like hundreds of fans by the end of it were on the pitch. They were screaming at the players. The players were screaming at them. It was getting really heated. But to me, this just shows how poor of a season Espanyol have had. You're 19th. You're going into the 2nd division. I get that this is your rival, but now you have your fans coming onto the pitch. They're all going to get banned.
Yeah,
La
it's
Liga's
stupid.
pissed about it. Espanyol, the club, is pissed about it. And it just shows it's just poor form.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you
they were
doing?
going to protest against the ownership as well, right?
Oh, they
Which is
have
part of the
to.
reason why they went on the pitch to begin with.
Yeah. Well, there was
but-
no security. They were getting
I
on
know.
so
You
easy.
can point fingers here at numerous parties, but
Yeah.
you can't give Barcelona a pass. Even Xavi goes, maybe we went a little bit too far on the centre of the pitch, and
They
your
won
arch
La Liga.
rivals,
It
it's
is what it
probably
is.
going down.
Any,
you
but
do
any
it in the
club
room
would
later.
no, but any club would do that, in my opinion. I don't think it was that bad.
don't
And it's
know.
not like Espanyol is really doing well this season or they're in contention for anything. I just think it's such bad form. Like we always talk about, there's no place for violence in the sport, and I just think there's.
Let me ask Mikey here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But if Man City this year, right, they're winning the Premier League probably. If they essentially clinched at United and did that centre field, what would happen? Do you think?
Yeah, probably seeing the same reaction.
No, but I say they have better security at Old Trafford than they did here.
Sure, sure. If you want to say that's the issue, but yeah, I mean, I think I agree. Like, there's a couple of people who are in the wrong here. What do you expect? What is Barcelona expecting?
I think
by
it's
doing
it's a
that?
shame that you guys are saying that they can't celebrate because they're at a rival.
It's the reality. I'm not
yeah.
condoning either behavior, but that's just the reality. You
They
gotta
won
know the
La Liga with
situation.
4 games still left to play, and they deserve to have a little celebration. There was never going to be a trophy lift here. They're doing the parade today now. It's none of that, but they are allowed to be happy and celebrate.
You know more than anyone the toxicity between the two fan bases.
Sure,
They hate
but
each other. So
they
you're
still celebrated in the locker
That's the same
room.
as Manuel Adebayo running down the pitch and celebrating in front of the Arsenal fans, right? You're inciting them.
I
That's what you're
mean,
doing.
And you also know what's going on in Espanyol at the club, right?
Yeah, they're angry, they're upset.
There's a
think
lot of
it's
things building up.
unfortunate though that a club wouldn't be able to celebrate because they're playing at a
It is.
rival. They still
It is
won.
unfortunate.
They
Yeah.
won La Liga. They're going to be doing a parade all through the city today. Espanyol fans, go watch it. I mean, like, to me, it's such a shame. I think it's really poor for La Liga as well. I think there's a lot that needs to be done here.
No, it is a shame, and I'm not.
Like, you're
I said, we're not
chasing- the
condoning
players
it.
are literally
It's
running
wrong, but
'cause
the reality is they should know that would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that it's so dangerous that the players are running into the tunnel because it could get that violent. Like there were hundreds. Like
It's-
I mean, can you imagine if they got one of the players? Like we'd be having a completely different conversation here.
And that's why Espanyol will get massive fine for this.
Well,
Who knows? Maybe a home ban. We don't know. And the fans will get banned as well, and they should, right? It's not right. It's just even in the Dutch league this year, Groningen against Ajax, the game got abandoned because there were two like smoke bombs, pitch invasions, and they ended the game. Right? There's a real sense
lot of pitch invasions
There's a
this
lot right
week.
now. Yeah, it's be it in North America. People are angry. I think in general, just angry
maybe.
with life.
I hope not. The
Sounds that
summer's
way.
coming.
Congratulations to Barcelona for winning the league.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
have a question. You see the reports of Messi not potentially come back. Obviously, Messi's like
Once
with like
again.
every other club in the world right now. But you see the reports of Barcelona's president coming out saying they'll do anything
after
to get
the game.
Messi. They'll La Liga's president's coming out saying they want Messi here. If you had to give up a young player like Gavi in order to bring Messi back, would you do it? If you're Barcelona, would you want to see that?
Not necessarily, but Gavi's not one of the players that they're talking about getting rid of. Dembele, on the other hand, see you later.
Well, no, Gavi.
Bye.
I saw like Gavi was. I think he was even asked about it because he is one of the players that people are talking about. That
I've not
potentially
heard
would have
that.
to
That's
leave
news
the
to me,
club.
but okay.
Yeah, would you be willing to give up a player like Gavi in order to bring back Messi at this age?
Gavi, maybe. Pedri, probably not. I wouldn't want to give up either of them, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, maybe like a loan situation. Let Messi come in 1 year, maybe finish.
That
it
wasn't
up.
the question.
Yeah, I
He doesn't
mean,
even know. That's going to free up some money. He made some big money.
yeah.
I thought
don't-
he took a pay
they're-
cut though.
But the thing
Yeah,
is,
that's true.
with Gavi, and one of the reasons why I think they would want to keep him is because he's also Catalan and came up through the Messiah, so he is one of like.
He doesn't want to leave.
Oh, he doesn't.
Yeah.
This is for. They're so happy. Also, sorry, just randomly, my dad and I were speaking about who here has won a La Liga trophy at the Barcelona team. There are only 5 players: Jordi Alba, Busi, Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Dembele, and I'm missing one. Maybe it was out even 4. All these players are new.
Yeah, Frankie de Jong wasn't there.
Frankie
was
wasn't there. Araujo wasn't there. None of these guys were
Wow.
here. Isn't that
It's only been,
crazy?
what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Is Messi's last one, right?
Yeah. But there was a year after where Messi played, but they
Yeah,
didn't win.
right.
So yeah, it's been ages. Well, it's
Wow.
not that it's been ages, but the team has just changed so much.
Yeah.
Anyways,
What
lots
was their last La Liga title? 2019.
2018, 2019, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, because then Real won,
that's a
Atletico
lot of
won.
change.
Yeah, and then Real again, the double.
Yeah. The triple. Did they win the coat? No, I think
it's a
Betis
double.
won. Yeah. All right. Anyways, moving on. Canadians Fleming Buchanan win Women's FA Cup with Chelsea before world record crowd. James Sharman, your second headline.
Yeah, I mean, we checked this, right? It's the biggest domestic
Yeah.
crowd for a women's game, right? 77,390, right? So you hope this filters down to the league level, WSL, because they're not still getting big crowds. They're growing somewhat. It's been a bump since Euro, but they're still getting there. But just seeing Jessie Fleming, her 3rd FA Cup, which is amazing under Emma Hayes, one of the most underrated coaches in all of football. And Kadisha Buchanan came off the bench. She was injured, of course. Came off the bench, played really well in the few minutes there. So just, listen, good for them. Good for them. Chelsea beating Manchester United.
Ooh,
In the FA
there
Cup
it is.
final. But just like 77,000 at a women's game. It just shows that the game is changing, it's evolving slowly. It's going to take a while still, but a big weekend for women's sport.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. I think. I mean, over the weekend as well in Toronto, they hosted the WNBA first game in Canada, and that was sold out. So I think it's really important to see and get the fans behind these teams and like properly follow these teams, because I think that's one of the biggest things is that you're so used to following your Manchester United men's side or Liverpool or Barcelona, but these women teams are so competitive and they're playing such high level football that it's really becoming a sport that you can like follow like the same way.
Do you think? If you're a Man United fan, do you have to then support the women's team as well, or can you say, I really like the Arsenal women's team, but the Man United men's team?
Well,
No.
I
No,
like
you can't. Can't be done.
I could never.
I like Chelsea. I like Chelsea because of the fact they have the Canadian connection there,
right.
Canadian contingent there. So I'm always.
Although Riviere
rooting
plays for United.
Riviere does play for United now. She was injured for the good stretch of the season. Now she's back. Adrienne Leon was there, but she wasn't getting minutes at all. Yeah, so, I think the 2 prominent stars being at Chelsea always makes me root for them because they're playing a bigger role for that club right now. And yeah, speaking of supporting women's sports, yeah, World Cup is right around the corner when it comes to the Women's World Cup. And, you know, it's really important that these Canadians got this experience now with Chelsea. You mentioned Buchanan was injured. Now she's potentially, you know, making her way back to full fitness here. Jessie Fleming's playing a bigger role with Chelsea. You remember the storyline with Jessie Fleming when she moved to Chelsea was that she would never be able to get minutes. And then people are questioning that move. And now look at what it's
She's always been questioned, and she's always answered the bell.
Always. She's really developed into not just a Canadian star, a world star in the game. So that's I think that's really important. So yeah, Women's World Cup for Canada. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries right now. Hopefully they can get healthy, because we know that this team has the potential to surprise a few people and go all the way. They really do if they're healthy.
Yeah. Well, it's coming up just around the corner in only a couple months. All right, Mikey, your second headline. James Ward-Prowse in astonishing rant at Southampton teammates after relegation, as he is linked with transfer exit. Yes, Southampton is officially out of the Premier League and will be heading down to the Championship.
Yeah. Bittersweet. Like Southampton, we talk about the Brightons and the Brentfords, and Southampton was not the first, but they were one of those original teams to come up and really establish themselves as, you know, a club that
played above themselves, right?
Yeah, they secured their place in the Premier League for a very, very long time. And James Ward-Prowse has been at the club since he's been 8 years old, right? He's seen the lows, he's seen the highs of Southampton. Remember, Southampton funded Liverpool with all of their players.
Adam Lallana, Glenn Johnson. There's that one season, wasn't it? And they got
all the
my word.
You had Oxlade Chamberlain go there?
Yeah.
Or was he?
He started there, I think, before Arsenal. My brain's just stopping now.
Oh my God, it's so long.
Too long a weekend for James.
Danny Ings is another one. Yeah, Luke Shaw obviously came to United from Southampton.
Well, that guy Virgil van Dijk.
Oh yeah, he's pretty decent,
good.
right?
Oh, him.
Yeah, he's pretty decent. No, but seriously, going back to like James Ward-Prowse, essentially the rant was just like, we need to reevaluate everything at this football club right now, whether it's the decision making, whether it's the roster, whether it's, you know, the style of football that we're playing. Everything needs to be reevaluated because they were not up to the standard this year. It was a pretty honest rant from a guy who knows and bleeds Southampton more than anybody else at this point. Now the biggest question now is, and he was asked about this immediately, is what about you? What's next for you? Because you're going to be relegated. And obviously Southampton's the only club you've ever known. And we've talked about James Ward-Prowse on this show quite a bit. James called him the most underrated player in the Premier League, but he's, regardless of what you think of him, he is a really, really, really talented player, and he can make a lot of teams better. Right now he's linked, I think, to Newcastle, to Aston Villa, some clubs that, you know, you smile because seeing James Ward-Prowse at that club, it seems like a natural fit. So this could be the end of a really, really long chapter for James Ward-Prowse and the start of potentially something bigger and better for him, because he might be able to get more recognition.
Where do you see the fit? I see Villa being a great fit for him for some reason, because, and again, I am underrating him. Newcastle can be in a different stratosphere for the players they're after, money-wise, you know. And he's like I said, he's a great player from a free kick, from a cross. There are a few better in world football. But is he the 90-minute box-to-box guy that perhaps he's being perceived to be by some people? I'm not sure he is. Right, so Newcastle might be looking for a slightly higher, whereas a Villa, a team that could well be in the Europa League this year, or at least competing for those spots next year, he'll do great in that midfield.
Yeah. I think we'll probably see him in the Premier League next season, regardless of.
Oh yeah, he's not going.
Yeah, he's not going.
It's time. 8 years old. It's time for a change. I think so. You know, maybe he loves Southampton. Who knows?
What about Brighton?
I think it depends on what happens with
idea.
Brighton, though, over the summer transfer window, because this is a team that I can see getting picked apart.
Casato's gone, McAllister's gone, right?
Yeah, those are the two names.
Matoma maybe, and Supignon. Like, this team is so talented. People are going to be hunting them.
Thing is, when they sign players, usually they're younger players who no one has heard of, right? He's probably a little bit too old, and he's too well known.
But they're bringing in James Milner.
That's a really good point. But maybe he provides that veteran presence that they need. Maybe they don't need a Ward-Prowse in that regard. Whoever goes there will be a great signing. That's what they do.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, though. My second headline, and big talking point of the weekend. Mikel Arteta looking at himself as Arsenal surrender title in unacceptable Brighton defeat. That's right, Arsenal lost at home once again to Brighton 3-0, meaning that if Manchester City beat Chelsea next weekend, they've secured the Premier League. We spoke about this game on Friday, and I actually had this game to talk about, saying it could have gone both ways, but I didn't expect it to be such a crumble from Arsenal after that first goal. It was shocking.
It's over. The title race is over, and Arsenal can only look at themselves to blame, right? Obviously, Manchester City, what they've been able to do and turn their season around, put an immense amount of pressure on Arsenal, but they show that they cannot handle the pressure yet, and that's the next step of taking of becoming a really, really, really big football club. But I have to give some love to De Zerbi and Brighton. I talked about this like a week or two ago when I said that I don't think there's a team in the Premier League right now that plays better football than Brighton, and what they showed, that was Brighton's football, what they've been playing this entire season. Their ability to suck Arsenal in and then just play that ball over the top. I mean, there's not a better team in the Premier League that does that consistently right now. You're starting to see more Premier League teams actually try and do what Brighton's doing, but there's not a team that's capable of doing it. The risks that they take at the back, sometimes it doesn't pay off, sometimes it puts them in bad positions, but the fact they have the audacity and the heart and the braveness to be able to suck Arsenal in by taking risks at the back, by having their goalkeeper play such an important role in their build-up. I mean, no one builds the ball up better than Brighton does right now, and they, again, like, full credit to them. They deserve the 3 points against Arsenal.
I found it really fitting that when Trossard left for Arsenal earlier this season, we all kind of thought, well, that's the beginning of the end for Brighton. Really good player, key for Graham Potter's Brighton, and now we're going to see all these other players leave, and that's been a nice story for a while. It was fitting that Trossard was on the pitch for Arsenal and actually gave the ball away. And a day when Brighton took the title from Arsenal's grasp. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Listen, Arsenal, you're right. It's a long season. Mentally, they've been drained. Physically, they're drained. They need a bigger squad, a better squad. Depth got to them towards the end. But also, this City run right now is insane, right?
Yeah.
20 games. It's insane. So give City all the credit in the world. Arsenal came a little bit too soon for them, but they could be very close again next year.
Well, let me ask you, okay, first of all, they lost Martinelli 20 minutes into the match. They did not need that. That was a massive...
They should have lost him before that for potentially a red card.
I think it was a yellow, but it was definitely a card. I'm surprised he got away without anything, for sure. But, okay, Arsenal, still, young team, Arteta's manager, they come in, they, lead the Premier League for the majority of the season. They play really good, entertaining, class football. Now they're losing to Manchester City, arguably the best team in the world right now, giving them a run for their money for the Premier League. Arsenal fans, of course, it's awful that they're going to lose the league now, but should they still not be happy after, how many years of football that Arsenal have played that have been really poor, boring, laying back, always securing, 4, 5, or 6 place? In my opinion, Arsenal is still one of the best teams in Europe right now, and they're young, so their future is bright. I'm just curious, are we being too tough on Arsenal? Should they still be we still had a great season. We're coming second in the Premier League.
It's the hope that kills.
It is.
Keep saying that, right?
Says the Leafs fan.
Yeah, exactly. No, but listen, they should be happy overall, big picture.
Yeah.
But they could be gutted. This was an opportunity, and it's so hard to win this title, and it's going to get even harder in subsequent years. They had the chance to win it this year. They dropped points, 3 straight draws. That's what killed them, right? And City, even at that point, have Arsenal maintained their form, it wouldn't have mattered what City did, right? So they have choked. They have dropped the ball here. But overall, listen, before the season, our little predictions, no one had Arsenal finishing second, I don't think.
Yeah.
Am I being patronising here?
No, I mean, you can give yourselves a pat on the back. Great season. End of the day, 5 years from now, no one's remembering who finished second in the Premier League that year.
Okay, but then if Manchester United don't win the FA Cup, you're saying that Manchester United are still going to have a great season finishing 4th because of everything they've gone through. That's kind of what I'm saying about Arsenal. The shift that this team has made with Mikel Arteta and the football they have played, finishing 2nd, is still really good. We haven't seen Arsenal this competitive since Thierry Henry played on this team. I'm talking,
right,
it's been
you're talking about Arsenal fans and what they're gonna feel.
Because I think it's fair to see how they feel and see just talk about what the
so I'm saying how I think they're gonna feel is that it slipped. That's the end of that's what they're gonna remember from this season, is how close they were from win the Premier League title, and it slipped. They're going to walk away from this entire season without a trophy, which, as you mentioned, all the good work that they put into this season, how close they were in so many different competitions, they're going to walk away with nothing from it. So if you're that, they're going to feel that. Of course. Are they, big picture, are they going to feel like they took a step forward this year? Yeah, absolutely. But I think what I said earlier outweighs the taking that step forward. And maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it, but in fandom, as a fan, when you're in it, that's what you feel, unfortunately.
They were first, though, on St. Tutteringham Day, right? They were first. And
Give them a trophy.
That's the day when Spurs can't catch them. And listen, Arsenal fans are, so reasonable. I'm sure they'll be just fine with this, right?
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, that is it for us for the headlines. It was such a busy weekend. There was so much going on. Coming up this week, though, Champions League football, the second leg of the semi-final. So we'll be covering all of that. So make sure to keep up with us in Room 442.
Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.